Stay tuned, everybody, because it's time for the Playin on Music Row podcast with your host, Fran. Heard each week on this station. And now, here's Fran.
The saints of the Lord is laid for your faith in his excellent word. What more can he say than to you he hath said? To you whom for refuge to Jesus hath led. When through the deep waters I call thee to go, the rivers of woe shall not thee overflow. For I will be with thee, thy troubles to bless, and sanctify to thee thy deepest distress. When through fiery trials thy pathway shall lie, my grace all sufficient shall be thy supply. The flame shall not hurt thee, I only design thy dross to consume and thy gold to refine. That soul, though all hell should endeavor to shake, I'll never, no, never forsake.
Well, that was a very talented songwriter and artist, Robert Vasile, who is our guest today on Playin on Music Row. Well, Robert, we opened up with your song, "The Unfinished Road." Can you tell us a little bit about that song, how it came about?
That song is one of the solid hymns from the old hymnody of Christendom, actually. I took it in and made an arrangement of that song from a hymn. I grew up as a kind of a high church kid. I was actually raised in the Catholic Church, and I actually spoke the mass that in Latin. That's how far back. I'm 72, so my roots go back to Latin mass. And in the 70s, I got to a place where I came to a relational faith with Jesus Christ, and it made a big difference. So I started looking at the hymnody of the Christian church and started writing and arranging hymns. So that was actually an adaptation of an old Appalachian style hymn. I've heard it played on organ, and a friend of mine used to say something like, put her out of her misery, man. She's killing the song with that organ, you know. Organs are great, but certain songs don't work.
Yeah.
So what I did was I had worked. I'm a semi-pro because over the course of my I've worked as a postal employee, an electronics technician. I've been a piano technician, private music teacher, and my degree is in organ, but I did study for 3 years as an accordion major at University of St. Thomas in Houston, Texas. So I had 3 years of actual accordion study at a higher post-secondary level. But at that time, 1972, I didn't know really what to do with it. So why did I write that song and the level that it's at? It's because when I finished my career in the Postal Service, I decided I really wanted to go professional. And I took that hymn and I worked it and I memorized the words and I played it in that style for myself on an acoustic drum. But when I got to the studio in 2022, I said, this is going to be one of the songs that's going to be on the Unfinished Road album. So the album has 10 songs. They're mostly Americana gospel. The Unfinished Road, which is number 7, was a love song I wrote for my wife in 1974 and finished the lyrics, refined them, and recorded them in 2022. So the name of the album is The Unfinished Road. And the album, the single is number 7, and it's there as a single. And then all the other songs are part of an album.
Okay. Well, okay, you mentioned you played accordion. Can you do you play any other instruments, and did you take lessons or how
Yeah. Okay, I started as a child accordionist. That was because I wanted to play guitar. Remember, in that day and age, you know, Elvis Presley was popping, and all the bubblegum music was happening. The Beatles had come over, the British invasion, and I didn't really want to play an accordion. But my dad said, "By the way, we have this accordion in a closet over here, and you want an instrument? There it is." I said, "What?" He says, "You're going to play the accordion." I really didn't want to play it. I wanted to be a rock and roll star, you know, and I couldn't figure out. I should have been like Weird Al and did something like him, and I might have made it because I should have had a hint, because when I played my high school talent shows, I would get roaring laughs. I'm playing accordion, and I'm playing Pipeline and Walk Don't Run and all these surf music on the accordion. And the guys were all howling. And I said, I should have taken a hint from that and said, oh, maybe I could have did this with an accordion. But I really got serious when I went to college. Yeah, I went to University of St. Thomas and studied accordion for 3 years. And then I dropped out because I was a space shot by that time. 1972, I had no mental stability left from what was happening in our culture. So I went back to my home in New Jersey and started working for the Postal Service, met my wife as a girlfriend, got married. So worked and had 3 children. And all along the time I was doing that, I picked up trades like piano technology. And then I went back to school in 85 and got my degree in organ performance in 87. And I claimed music for the campaigns in New Hampshire. I did some accordion playing for, of all people, Mario Andretti. He walks into a restaurant and it was his birthday and they had a whole entourage of people. And they said, the person who hired me said, well, this is why I hired you, to play accordion, not Cinco de Mayo, to entertain Mario Andretti. So I said, really? Okay. So that party went for 3 years. He had me come back for this family May party that he put on for everybody in that family. And I was in Nazareth, Pennsylvania at the time. And that's where Mario was from. So that's how that worked. So I've been playing as a semi-pro. I can only say semi-pro because I've always had to work other jobs to manage to pay for the, cost for living and raising family and keeping a roof over our heads. But my songwriting was always something I did along the way, and it did change pretty much in the 70s with that relationship that I came to, a personal relationship with Christ. And that made me think that my songs would be more spiritual in their nature, that they would be focused on something that I believe is eternal truth. I'm not knocking the the secular music, and because a lot of love songs and a lot of good material out there. And I do play them when I play accordion on Extra Roll. I play, all the old love songs of Frank Sinatra stuff, and the Italian American songs like De Pinto de Blue, Felice. I play all of that. They're love songs, and they're about, of course, some of it's platonic or marriage and love and marriage goes together like a horse and carriage stuff. But that's from my family. I started entertaining my family. That's the way I started. I gave you a lot there. Maybe I should let you ask me another question. Going on.
That's fine. Yeah, well, what I'd like to know is, you played the accordion, and you mentioned that you talked about Elvis. What kind of artists or writers had actually influenced you?
Yeah, a lot of them. I mean, when I was a kid, that was what I played. A lot of there was the doo-wop stuff going on, and the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. I mean, that was the rock and roll generation. What happened was I played the accordion for my family, and we played all the standard cha-chas and tangos and rumbas and all that. And so then at the end of these affairs, we would play, mostly they were church affairs or civic affairs as a child musician. And then I would drop the accordion and pick up the electric bass. And so we had a band that would just what was going on, and that would be Elvis and rock and roll. 96 Tears. I mean, Sam the Sham and the Favorites. I'm talking about early rock and roll. And that's what I grew up on and cut my teeth on. And if I didn't have the accordion, I rent a Farfisa organ and I'd sit there and tap, 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 the Farfisa. But if they needed a guitar player, I could slap a guitar on and play as well. So I'm accordion trained. I studied it, but I taught myself guitar, bass, and a multitude of other instruments. I went to school in college, so I did learn. I actually did all the juries for all the musical instruments to teach in the school system. That was woodwind, string, percussion, and voice. And I actually have a degree in music performance with all the credits for music education, but I don't have a music education degree because I didn't go in a classroom and do the practicum, the practical aspect. So that's why my musical background is very diverse. But I do say that. Oh, there we go.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna. Well, let's play your song, which is from there, which is called "May the Peace."
May His peace
be with you. We're gonna play that, okay? Then we'll ask about that.
Because neither let it be afraid. Give all your worries to Jesus, for he will help you ease the way. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. Give all your worries to Jesus, for he will help you ease the way. Give all your worries to Jesus. He will help you ease the way. Trust him today.
We wanted to get the whole thing in on that one.
Good.
Well, tell us a little bit about that song and who actually joined you on with that song.
My wife, I met Janice in a guitar studio in Wallington, New Jersey in 1974. And we were married in 1975. And we had our first child in 76. And in 1977, we went to a concert in New York City they called the Lambs Club. It was the Nazarene ministry of First Nazarene Church. You got First Baptist churches, you got all that, it was the First Nazarene Church of New York City. And we went to a concert, and at the concert, there was an invitation to accept Christ as Savior for your own personal, relational faith, not an institutional faith, but a relation with him. And at that time, my wife raised her hand, and I looked over and I says, yeah, she made a choice. I had made that decision earlier in my life. Even though we married, I think was a little gamble on what she was going to do. But she came back home about a week later. I come home from work. I worked a night shift, almost like what they call swing postal service. It's 2 or 3. That means you go to work at like 3 PM and come home at midnight, So I come home at midnight. She's sitting on the floor with her guitar and paper, and she's writing words and putting chords, because she had a rudimentary guitar background, and she's writing a lyric sheet. And I said, what are you doing? She goes, oh, I'm writing the song. It's on John 4. This was the verse that really touched me when I was going to a Bible study with the church that brought us to this concert in New York. And so she wrote we co-authored it. She got stopped right at the first part. And I said, well, you need a bridge. And the bridge is mine. Mine's more, hers was heartfelt and trusting Christ, and that, leaving your worries. And mine was a theological statement. Oh, Lord, my Savior, I want to share your love because what you did for me on the cross, and you are the truth, God's holy plan. You're only help for man. You are. There's only help for man's hopeless. That's my
Amen.
belief. That's my belief theologically. Men are hopeless. He said, but you're the only hope for helpless man. Oh my God, so I says, oh, I want to share the word. I want to share the news, to let his peace be with you. Trust him, and that's the end. The last thing, we co-authored that last line on the way to the studio up to Nashville in 22. I says, we got to cap this off with something. And we said, yeah, trust him today. It's an invitation to people. So it was co-authored by us over the course from 1977 and then the studio. And believe it or not, she didn't want to go up to the studio and sing it. It was an arm twist, I said, I said, you wrote the song, the first part of it, and you need to be the one singing it. So we went up there, and Jesse Thompson is the engineer. He says, they're your songs, you guys need to be singing them. I wanted to hire ringers to sing. I mean, I didn't think I had a great voice, and he said, "No, you got to sing. You'll be fine."
Yes.
So
It's a sound thing, you know. You don't have to have a great voice. You have to. It's a feel that you have, and she did a beautiful job on that song actually.
yep.
Um, where do you find you get your ideas for songs that you write?
Well, they basically now are scripture. I mean, most of what I've written is theological. I sit in a theology class or a Bible study, and I come out and like on that album, you'll see songs like "Who's Changing Who" and "Calvary," and they're all theological statements. I mean, I raised in high church, and I always was interested in faith-based study and understanding some of the depth of God's workings for mankind. And the word, that's the first song you played. I'm glad you picked it because, like I said, that was the first song that I picked right after I retired with the desire to move into full professional musicianship and songwriting. It got stuck again because of some other things that happened. I was ready to buy a building, an old schoolhouse in Pennsylvania, 1834 German schoolhouse, and the guy was selling it. He actually had no title to it. And I got into spending money, realized after about 3 months, this guy was a sham. He was he saw my enthusiasm, but he had no right to try to sell it. He said he was in realty, and I got sidelined. It ended up being a whole delay with business on a business aspect. I kept on working by exploring what opportunities I could find, and I went to the Kutztown Folk Festival and ended up meeting a guy who's a summer Santa. So you might find on some of my some of the songs that are there on Spotify and all these. There's a whole release that just came out called the New Santa Songbook. And that was based on Art Bransky, who was the summer Santa, and he was singing off key, but he had these cute little songs, and I worked with him. And so my inspiration with him was to co-author and smooth out this old guy's music and actually orchestrate it and arrange it for him. So where's my inspiration? It comes in a lot of different places.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, how would you describe your sound? Because we played 2 songs for. We're going to play another one. We're going to be actually playing. He's Coming Again. We're going to right after this answer here.
Okay.
But how would you describe your sound? Because it's all a little bit different.
Well, my sound is I can't really nail it down because those are adaptations of music from friends and people who have given me permission to rework their songs. So that's why there's a lot of difference in them. Out of that album, 4 are my originals, 3 were from other people, 2 were remakes of hymns, and then 1 was a collaboration. So on that album alone, that was again, the styles were almost associated with other people's work, but they're all what can I say? It's Americana gospel. That's what the engineer, I said, what do we have here? He says, you're writing Americana styles, because they're varied, but the repair job sounds like Leon Redbone or somebody, so I don't, yep.
All right. Well, we're going to take a listen to another one, which is another kind of sound here, because He's Coming Again. Let's try it.
The days are dark, the world is old, the second coming that was foretold draws ever closer, make straight the way, look to the sky for redemption day. He's coming again, he's the King of Kings, every knee shall bow and every saint will sing. signs of the time, they're all around. People raising hell, demons hang around. Let no man deceive you about the day he returns. First the falling away, then perdition's son. He's coming again, he's the Lord of Lords. And out of his mouth comes a sharp-edged sword. With it he smites the nations, rules with an iron rod. His name is faithful and true, he is the Son of God. Fill your lamp with oil, keep 'em burning bright. Bridegroom will come and feast with his bride. He'll wipe away her tears and take away her pain. He'll ride a white horse when he reveals his name. He's coming again, he's the King of Kings. Every knee shall bow and every saint will sing. When that trumpet sounds, those asleep shall awake. The Lamb that hath been slain has conquered death and the grave. Soon that trumpet sounds and the angel shouts, this is what we've been waiting for, let there be no doubt. Saints go marching in. Oh, and they crown him Lord of all. Oh, and they crown him Lord of all.
All right.
Well, excellent. Very good.
Yeah. Let me explain that one.
Yeah, please do.
I'm going to tell you something that you asked in the last round of questions, but imitation is the greatest form of flattery. I think that nails it. I am an imitator. That was influenced by old-timey music from that movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Union Station, what's his name? Ralph Stanley. These were my first introduction to that kind of music from that movie, believe it or not. And when I heard it, I kind of adapted these songs to that in my thinking. Let me go ahead and see if I can imitate some of those styles. So I believe when I heard that this song was originally written by a fellow from Freemansburg, Pennsylvania, named Lee Bowman. And I asked Lee, I said, Lee, could I use your song? He's coming again. I'm going to change the lyrics and I'm going to change the style. When we recorded it in 2005 in our home studio, it was recorded like a space sound. It was heavy rock. My son was the recording engineer because he was studying to go into broadcast media technologies. So I had a little studio built for him in our basement, and so he recorded the original version. If I played it for you, you probably wouldn't recognize it because it sounds like he starts off with sounds of he's coming again, and then it's heavy rock and roll. And I said, Lee, I want to change it. And he said, you could do whatever you want with my songs. I said, you want anything for them if they get anywhere? No, he says, just, he gave me permission, and I have his written permission to use his, he has two of his songs are on there, actually. I modified Calvary, which he also did, and I changed it quite a bit. So imitation is a lot.
Okay.
There's an imitation. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this, Robert. We don't see your video here. If you can use a Command and Shift and the V, we'll get your video back up on here.
Command
Shift
Shift
and
V.
V for video.
All right, come back.
There we go. There we go.
All right.
Perfect.
Oh,
Can
Yep,
you
every
can you
turn
tell
it
us
on.
how your career is promoted?
Well, right now the only promoter I have is Caden Gordon, the country show that he does. He's a young guy up there in Massachusetts, and he's been helping me along with it. I went to Facebook and tried going through opening a Facebook page with the social media approach. I'm still trying to learn the ropes on how to promote what it is. I'm not trying to see, this is the biggest problem. I actually went to the Getty's Sing 23 in Nashville this year, and went to the Christian, I guess it's the Nashville Christian songwriters, and asked them, well, how do you evaluate songs that are written by old guys like me who have stuff in the can yet? And they said, well, we have to do this branding. I said, I really don't want to do branding. It's a tough thing, because from a perspective of a believing Christian, I just don't believe I'm the brand. And so I get conflicted with this whole process that's going on. Jesus is the brand. I don't want to take first place. I want him to be the foremost in what I do. And so the conflict is in how to promote yourself without stepping all over him and looking at, like, I see that's one of the biggest problems in the Christian church today. It's a lot of stuff about people doing, I'm a real Christian, contemporary Christian star. And I'm going, no, you're just somebody who, if you're really being used to God, then you're just a vessel, a channel for him. And so for me, I just don't know how the promoting thing really is working. This is the second or third interview I've done. I've done, 2 video ones and 1 radio audio interview. So suggestions help, but I'm going to take it slow, and I'm going to let things work out as God opens doors and promotes me as he promotes the music. It's promoting his ministry to the world. And if he uses me, I think I put that on my Facebook page. God can use anything he wants to bring people to the saving knowledge that they have in Christ. And if he wants to use me, he can use me. That's it.
Well, you need to be promoted, because if you don't promote, they're not going to hear your music. And your idea is the music is to bring people to Christ. So you want to make sure you get out there.
Yeah,
okay.
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Just so you realize, if you get out there, it's okay, because you're bringing a message. Right?
Yeah, I do. It's just that I want to make sure that the method in which it's promoted maintains the focus correctly.
I understand that. Okay. How can our listening audience find out more about Robert Vasile?
On I have a website, robertmvasile.com. That's one way. There's Vasile Music, Facebook, and of course there are Instagram, and I'm not going to know how to get into the Instagram, but there's Instagram and the social media, and that's about what I have right now. And Caden Gordon has some information on me from his promotions. ISSA, I'm a member now of the ISSA, so they've gotten back, and I'm connecting with them. I'm still not sure how to. I was telling him I didn't know how to hashtag things. He said you got to put posts out and hashtag them, so I'm learning how to hashtag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you must be a young guy, because they say you can't teach old dogs new tricks. So you must be very young.
Well, I'm young at heart. I'm an older guy physically, but my mind has never been dull. It's always been fairly sharp, and that's the music and the creative side have kept me going that way.
Yeah, you have the good Italian genes too.
Yes, yes.
Is there now, I've asked you a lot of questions. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you would like to tell the listening audience?
No, I think you've done a pretty good cover here. raised a family, the very important part of life. Called family is important. My wife, we had 3 children, and all of them ended up in music related careers, which is pretty interesting. I didn't actually have the success in a professional way at the beginning of my life. I had to make up for the lost time, missteps I took in college. And I told them, I says, you have a window of time to do your studies. And I said, you don't have to do it for me, but one became his piano performance major, Eastman School of Music, a master's in piano performance. And now he's the music director at New York Avenue Church in DC, Presbyterian Church. And he was Park Avenue the Park Avenue Church in 85th and Park in New York. So my oldest son is also in facilitating music and also in a spiritual realm. My daughter is a certified music therapist, and now she's teaching music at a school in Kennesaw, Georgia. And my youngest works for Zealot, which is he's a cut editor for Zealot, which is in LA and New York. So if you've seen the Roku commercials for Weird Al and all those, he cut those. So my sons, they're all involved in AV work.
Well, that's terrific. Well, I tell you what, Robert, the Nashville Broadcasting Network wants to thank you for taking the time to visit with us today. We really appreciate it. Thank you so very much.
Oh, you're welcome.